and welcome back. We are here to review another episode of The Acolyte, the fourth episode of the newest series entry into the Star Wars galaxy. And I have me here, Busy Braun and Samuel again. Muchachos, this fucking
What up,
episode.
y'all?
Um, I was gonna say that just stuff is just putting at us at odds of like, wait, how much do we know? How much shadiness is there? And dare I say, what a ending, if I should say, just of the rugs being pulled, and we have to just now wait. How we all feel about the episode?
I think the cliffhanger was a form of bullying. I don't think that it's fair that we have to wait, and so that's just where I stand.
Okay, Sam.
that was freaking phenomenal. It subverted every kind of expectation I kind of had, while at the same that time giving me what I want. In the sense that, I know somebody like Soul, for instance, is holding something back. I know that, May as a character from the last episode that we saw, the moment that she saw her sister, it was almost like everything changed. I don't know what the deal she made. I don't know why she made it. If she thought maybe, that's recompense for her sister's death. But since that last episode, she's not been on the same exact energy. And, to kind of see her in a vulnerable state at the end of this, I was like, this is bad. This is not going to end well for anybody. And we still don't know what they did. What did the four Jedi do? So I love it. I thought it was a dope ending. I mean, I'm mad I got to wait, but I'm happy.
I think, and I told you guys what we're watching is that the show is so strong that it's giving us pieces of information, and we try to solve it before we get to the end, and yet we still don't know where it's heading and where we're going. And that's the testament to the writing, to the acting, dynamics, and chemistry between the characters, between Amanda and Daphne's characters, how there's this almost like sisterhood, if you will, of Padawans, both being Padawans of Soul, and be like, and her giving her back and be like, listen, you have to face some stuff, but just because you don't want to doesn't mean you're not less than us, even though you left the order one eye and stuff like that. So I appreciate that there's this bondage between the characters, and we get some sass, if you will, and yet it just comes from this place of like just some kid who just graduated high school, is in his first probably sophomore junior year at college, and he feels he's already king shit, but there's some good in him, but it just the
Boo to that man with the yellow lightsaber. I'm joking. Sorry, dude. You're doing a good job.
Oh man, I
My
love
boy
your reaction. um I feel that we we're not lost, folks. Like, again, none of us have explored the High Republic, and yet we're not, we're not lacking information for the sake of just trying to know where our surroundings are. We just want to know what the hell happened that night, and when May and Osha were separated, and what the ripple effects come afterwards. Now, at this point, um, I still think Saul is still my favorite character, followed by Osha and Daphne character. And what I like is that you look at this photo from the previous episode, and you see how you still see some white robes in Coruscant. You see almost how this stuff is leading to the prequel era, and how much the regality of the Jedi were in the High Republic is almost fading. How the beliefs that we grew up with in those movies start to set in stone, and how it's almost a tragedy of the Jedi now that we're seeing how they're going down this route, and how compare that to the visuals we just saw, how it's just night and day, and how like, wow,
Yeah.
what's happened? Like, how have they come to this say it? And are you guys do you guys agree with that? That like we can sense where they're going, and yet we're not lost, that we don't feel behind because we didn't read the books, that we're still just as engaged to this show is as if we had not read the books. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things where it's like you can still enjoy it no matter what you know. But at the same time, yeah, if you did read the books, if you do know the material, then there's extra content for you, and there's stuff they're throwing in there that it's not crucial to know, or to be like, that stuff. It's just like surprising stuff. So it's still enjoyable
Yeah.
to be able to experience it either way. But like, of course, book readers are probably gonna have a blast with it. I mean, that goes the same with anybody that's been familiar with any source of media, such as, like, I know me and you, when we went into The Last of Us, for an example, being able to compare it with something we've already seen or something we know that's happening, it's exciting because you catch the little bits of it that are in the show. And I think the same goes with this. Of course, it doesn't mean it's going to be better if you've seen it or read the book, but still.
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
about you, Sam?
like when I think about like it's weird because the Jedi here, it's not arrogance. I think it's just lack of information and understanding. Like it's not like what we've seen in certain Jedi is like so arrogant and they're beyond reproach. I think that
Right.
there's just an unawareness of what's out there because even with the presence of the witches, like I could sense like they were afraid. Like they were like it was almost like a threat. Like I don't know what they're capable of, but there's democracy here, so we can't overstep. But we have authority to do X, Y, Z. It's almost like the police going up to somebody's neighborhood that they don't know,
Than I used to.
and then they're gonna sit there and knocking on the doors like, "Hey, I saw some disturbance here. What are you guys doing?" Kind of thing. And we had this conversation while we were watching it. I was like, because they were asking about, I forgot exactly what they were talking about, like who trained her. And one of the Jedi was like, "Oh, it's got to be a Jedi." And I was like, "Does it? What about a Sith? Like, what about the witches? Like, there's other gray areas or dark areas out there." And so this being 100 years in the past, I was like, "So what does that look like for Seth? Are the Seth just hibernating somewhere, and we don't know what's going on?" Because if I take into consideration what she said to what this cat did at the end, they're in trouble. They are in deep trouble because they have absolute I think this is the first show since the original series that we are as in the dark as the people that are the Jedi or the quote unquote.
Yeah.
Because in the original series, we didn't know the levels of what a Seth is. We just knew like, yo, this big dude, he's got a red saber, he's a threat. That's all we knew, right? We had no background or context. And it's like in this sense, us as the viewers, I love that I have no idea, one, if it's just one entity or it's a whole other thing happening. And I truly love that about this show, personally.
I agree. And the choices being made, man, like in both perspectives, when we saw them, you and me and Busy were like, whoa, these character choices are going in ways that I didn't think they would go. And how I'm like, okay, where does that lead us now? And I appreciate, yeah, man, Saul, and how even him saying there's a line, again, it's again without the context, like how it's like, you have to face your past. We both have to. And it's just like, it's linking up to what you're saying that he knows stuff. Granted, I still think he's not fully dirty, but I appreciate these choices, routes being taken, and that's why I feel like us seeing Tales of the Jedi and Tales of the Empire almost helps digest these points of views and routes that wouldn't be taken any other space beforehand. So I don't again, non spoilers. I am very hopeful that there's still twists and turns left, even though we're halfway through the show, guys. We're halfway through the show, and yeah, I'm not bored. I don't think I'm missing anything. I'm just like intrigued as hell to see how this will conclude, either as a series or as a season. For this sake, and yeah, man, that counts. That counts. So that Jedi scene was layers about like, should we keep it hush hush? Do we tell the High Council? And how
And I
again,
want the High Council to know, because that means I'll
bro,
see some familiar faces, man.
big choices being made. If they get involved, it's just big choices of like, do we keep this hush hush or okay? this is maybe the first sighting of the darkness that we've seen in a while. Because much like in Phantom Menace, they said the Sith have been extinguished for millennia.
But it really
Okay.
shows how kind of irresponsible they're being. Because it's one thing if they were just dealing with May, but it's a
Yeah.
whole different thing with them dealing with someone who is possible one of the two. You know what I'm saying? So it's they figure out. I mean, you just can't hide this from the High Council. This is something that you would go to immediately. I know they're trying to stay away from political scares, but at the end of the day, it's the wrong move. So I'm really excited to see how that ends up being a punishment to some of these Jedi, if you
So
will.
I'm gonna ask a really undermined question, but
Go for it.
bro, the Jedi that I hadn't seen the trailers, but everybody's been talking about the cameos and the people that are the big stars. They're dead at this point. Like the people that we looked at outside of one, the ones that they have been targeted, they're gone. And I'm bringing this up to say this altercation that's about to go down the next episode. Who's gonna actually make it out of this alive? Out of those people there, realistically, because my whole thing is if that person or whatever he was or is or if it's a she had enough wherewithal to know one that May was trying to get out, she didn't do her job, and bet I'm gonna take care of all of this right now myself. Now I have a theory. I think I know who it may be, but I don't know if they're gonna make it out alive, bro. I really don't. And the reason why I say that is because the only person I would feel that would survive would be Soul. But I feel like if that dude did all that to prove a point, he's gonna say, you owe me a Jedi. You got to take him out, or I'm gonna kill your sister. Realistically, like that's what I would do. And like you can't just bow out of the game. Like you gotta earn your stripes. So,
and I feel like he would give his life to give May a chance again. I feel this talk is saying him be like he's ready to face this if it gives her a shot. I think that's how much. Again, I keep saying Qui-Gon Jinn, man, like that vibe of like what the Jedi should be, and even when they realize they've made mistakes and how they're not doubling down on it. They're like, no, okay, let's face my mistake now.
Yeah.
I too have a theory of who that might be in the mask. Yeah, man. I feel like if anything, only 2 or 3 of those Jedi's are gonna make out of it. And it's the character we've been following. Everybody else is just toast. Because I feel like this is gonna go back to Coruscant. It's like, okay, this isn't just some lone person that we have to go investigate further to eradicate. It's like, no, this is now a movement. If more than one Jedi has been killed already, this is a movement now that we have to like full on investigate.
Yeah.
Throughout the galaxy.
Yeah, because her presence there, what she was able to do with no saber, nothing really, and she killed Jedi Masters. That's a statement if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he didn't even have to do it himself. He sent somebody that ain't even initiated yet.
To be fair, she hasn't taken out one of them in fair combat, in my opinion. I mean, Tommen chose to kill himself again, and Carrie-Anne Moss was protecting someone. I mean, she's technically did defeat her if you want to be specific, because she did use her weakness, which was defending innocence against her. But at the end of the day, you're like, bro, like,
I mean,
square up for real.
But she played them all at their weakness, and there's never been a Seth that's ever fought fair, ever.
And I feel he deliberately killed.
I mean, Darth Maul was pretty fair.
Jesus. I feel like the person that was taken out was a deliberate choice to make. Okay, now you have to face the person who split your path between you via unintentional, but you have to, that's the person you have to face to see you fully on this new wave, if you will.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Can we talk about theories real quick? Can we just, before we close out, can we just talk about theories?
If we do, we gotta tell people just potential spoilers, but like we have to. I feel.
I mean, we don't know. We ain't seen past this. I mean, it could be wrong. I mean,
this is a spoiler review. I mean, at the end of the day, they're expecting it.
Okay,
we're allowed to go
for everybody
crazy with
who's watching
theories.
this, potential spoilers, go forward at your own risk. Hit it, Sam.
But we don't know.
But again, that's what I'm saying. Potential.
He's saying that if it pans out, then we.
That
we
ain't our
called it.
fault. We're not spoiling nobody. We were just guessing.
Overall, for before we go to the theory, I think we all collectively dug this episode, and
Yes.
heck of a cliffhanger, and damn, we have to wait long now. That being said, let's go forward. Sam, hit me with them theories.
So this guy right here, Queemar, I don't know where he comes from. I know that May trusts him and got connected with him. I know that he understands supposedly who the master is, so quote unquote, and it's the way that they went about the path of his storyline. Like he just knows all these different kind of things, knows poisons. He can actually take care of himself in a fight too, because there was a situation where he was able to move very fluidly, talk himself out of a situation. But I think that when in this episode, this kind of confirmed it for me, when she kind of was like, yeah, I got my sister now, and I'm about to dip set. And he was like, yo, get me down. He's like, no, I'll admit to you, I needed you. And she's like, I don't need this anymore. And he was kind of flopping around at first, but then all of a sudden he looked at her deadpan and hit her face. He said, he will kill you. And that's it. And like, he didn't flop around. He was just sitting there. And I was like, when the sister May was screaming and all that was kind of panning out, and then it maneuvered over to her to go into the hut, everybody shifted past where he would have been still up in the air, and he wasn't there. And so either one, he is that entity or the master, or two, he is not what he seems. I don't really know. The worst case scenario theory that I have is that Saul knows who this master is. That's the worst case scenario. Like he fully knows what's going on. I don't know. Those are my two thoughts.
If it's that dude, it's a hell of a like echo of Palpatine hiding in plain sight.
Yeah.
My theory, it's one of the moms.
Wait, what do you?
I think it's
Yeah, honestly,
I think
I
it's one
thought
of
it
the
was
moms.
Zabrak.
And yeah, I think it's her. I think because she was one like, no, fuck no, no way. And she might have found a saber there, if you will. I don't know. And just took one and bled out the kyber crystal, turned it into red, and that's the way it went. And it's like, I don't know. That's my prediction is it's either one of the moms or it's dude, because I feel like that's a more echoey thing of like hiding in plain sight. I feel that they were that powerful to do that. And the way the mother moved Osha away, it was just like very like Dragon Ball Z style. And it was like focusing on the Jedi and May.
The only reason why I don't know if it's her is because I think that either May or Osha saw the body. One of them saw the body because they looked down at it. I can't remember. It was sometime in the third episode, and they looked down at it, and she was horrified.
Well, we think it's the Zabrak, not the
The other one.
Okay.
The strict
the
mom,
biological mother. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. It's so weird to say.
It is, yeah. The
It's
biological.
kind of metal.
You got any theories, Bizzy, before we close out and final rating?
So, you know what I'm gonna say, right?
Ride
You know
the
what I'm
wave.
saying? Fucking ride the wave, bro.
Yeah, take my words. Take my words. So, what's your rating, then, Bizzy?
I'm gonna give that. All right, so I know it's kind of lame.
Tipping off 4 4s. That's what
an
it's doing.
A minus.
I knew it.
I was gonna give it a B plus, but an A minus is gonna suffice.
Ronin, what about you, man?
Solid A, man. Like I think my favorite episode yet is still the first one, just because it was like, whoa, what a great intro, journey to the middle, and ending the way that ended out. But last episode was like, again, we were torn philosophically. We were like, wait a minute, which is right? What's the right way to go about this? We were so torn. But that being said, solid, consistently solid. I think if it's not getting better, it's just getting more mystery and more like sucking us in to be like, you gotta keep up with us. If not, you're gonna miss stuff. Yeah, solid A, solid A.
Yeah, I think it's an A or A plus for me. I think the only thing that would keep it from A plus is what's that Jedi with the yellow sword? What's his name? York?
Yord.
Lord? Yeah, nah.
Yord.
He it's not the actor's fault. He's a Chad. I just every time he's up here, dude, I just cannot do it.
My boy Deathstroke.
But outside of that, I think this is really good. I think honestly, the third episode, when we finally get the other side of that, I think episode 3 might end up being in my top. I just need the other side of that. But yeah, it's a really great episode. And I guess we're about to talk about episode 3. So yeah, we're gonna go. Bizzy, where can everybody find your content, man?
You can find me at Bizzy Brown everywhere. You can find me Bizzy Reactions on Instagram. You can find me dropping dope ass reviews on TeamJVS. Yeah.
That's chits, man. Ronin, where can everybody find your content?
You can find me at Ronin Unchained on YouTube, on the socials. You best believe I'm going to be covering the hell out of the show. I'm going to do my damnedest to bring back the podcast on a weekly basis, covering the show each episode. And somehow I'm going to drag these two into it on a week-to-week basis. Somehow make it work. And keep an eye out over the next 12 months, because two of us here definitely got our tickets for Japan, and we're cooking stuff up.
Cook, gentlemen, cook. We're gonna go. We gotta go do other things. Peace, people. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.
Filing out the top of
I can see the skyline, 50 mile radius on my timeline. Ain't nothing on my mind.